I'm hoping to get to know you also as we go on. This is a very intimate session. It's very small, and that's the beauty of it. Before we start, I would love to welcome you to this place, this beautiful place. This is really amazing. Who's been here for the very first time apart from me? All right. It's a very beautiful ecosystem, and I hope you get to come back and visit. Do we have people coming from different countries? Which country are you from? You're from the UK. Oh yeah, I was with the Duchess of Cornwall last week. Do you notice the accent? People in UK, they never start calling you out without, the interesting part in Rwanda, when somebody wants to talk to you, they just say, hey, how are you? But in UK, they have to start with your name, like Arthur. And then the second thing, what's your name? Yeah, so if Lucy and Arthur meet, it'll be like Arthur, and then Arthur will be like, Lucia, I was wondering. It's a very interesting thing. Here in Africa, we shake, we break your bone and say, how are you? Do we have people from other places apart from UK? Where are you from, sir? You're from Zimbabwe. Amazing, I love Zimbabweans. Never say hi in your language here in Rwanda. It sounds, it's a very bad word. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. Do we have any Rwandese here? Rwandese, okay, I'm going to say hi to him. Yeah. And then you hear what I say. How do you say hi?
Ndepi.
Not that one. The other one.
Which one? Moro.
No. You said you're from? Oh, no, you are lying. Zimbabwe has a funny way of saying hi, and I'm going to say it. Please, don't quote me on this. That's their language. Yeah, don't quote me on this. Taswela say?
Taswela masquerao.
I love Zimbabwe. I have a Zimbabwean friend, Carl Joshua Ngobe. Yeah, did I say it right? Ngobe. I tried. Yeah. How do you click in an argument? Would you manage? Like, do you have words that are argument-related kind of words? Like, could you quarrel in click language? Yeah. Could imagine somebody slaps you and you're there trying to look for it. It should be a tough conversation. Do we have any other people from another African nation? Hello, sir, where are you from? You're together, the Mugabe people, eh? All right. Hello, sir, where are you from? Hey, this is the Victoria Falls. I'm told people in Zimbabwe. So where is it, the Victoria Falls? Is it in Zimbabwe or Zambia? Someone told me it's actually in Zambia, but you get to see it better from Zimbabwe, right? All right, do we have any other Kenya, anywhere else? You're from Kenya. Amazing. I love Kenya, beautiful country. I once went to perform in Kenya for a show, Churchill Live comedy show there. And then this media guy asked me at the airport, so I'm told in Rwanda there is no corruption. I was like, no, we don't have corruption. So if I give you something right now, you don't take it. I'm like, I'll take it. How? Because I'm in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to ice break and get to know more about you. Hoping you're having a good time. So apart from Kenya, UK, and Zimbabwe, anybody else coming from, do we have people from Egypt, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania? Okay. Murakazaneza, thank you very much. Where are you from? Nigeria. How come Nigeria and Kenya are seated together? What's your name, sir? Yesaya. Amazing. I love Nigerians. They're very confident people. I wish I could take that. A Nigerian man will slap you and slap you again for crying. Be a man now. Be a man. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's start the business. As I said, I'm also here to learn more about the blockchain. Honestly speaking, I was asked to MC this, and the reason why I definitely agreed, this is a new thing that I would love to learn. This is something I would love to be part of, and I'm hoping some of you are also here to learn more about it. And now I would love us to help me thank the people that made this possible. Africa Blockchain Institute, in partnership with NIA Foundation. Please, a round of applause for them. This is an amazing moment. This is beautiful. And for us to start that perfectly, I don't think I'm the right guy to give you more information of how this cohort started. The demo day is the very first time it's happening in person. Yeah, you can't get this kind of interaction on Zoom. Otherwise, if this was a Zoom call, it would be like, As I was saying, internet was lost in the process. So, so it wouldn't be perfect. But ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome our man that has helped us put this together. And he actually has more information and a presentation to give you about it. Put your hands together to the Executive Director of Africa Blockchain here, Kayonde Babarinde. I hope I've mentioned your name perfectly. Thank you very much. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I need to project. Good afternoon, everyone. And I want to welcome you to the second edition of the Africa Blockchain Incubation Program. The first one was done last year, was focused mainly in Rwanda. Apart from us, ABI and SPEN, we all know SPEN. Yeah, SPEN is a blockchain platform. There's have not been any local blockchain startups already existing in the country. So we try to forestall that part by working with local businesses to put them on board on blockchain technology. So I'll need to run through my slide to give you more detail about what we've been doing so far and what led us what we are doing right now. So I'll be giving a recap. We started the Africa Blockchain Incubation Program, the second cohort, by March this year. Apparently, we used to start our program every February, but based on the current situation around the pandemic, we have to have some more time to plan and I'll push forward to March, because this time is when I used to realize, I was telling guys I used to go back and sleep. So now we started in March, and what sparked the idea of the Africa Blockchain Incubation Program? We like to give birth to the idea and spark creativities around digital technology and the use of blockchain technology across the continent, specifically where we are working from. And also, joining thus far, I told you we started here in Rwanda, and then we moved to other countries, Egypt and Zimbabwe. And to tell you the funny story, the idea of the Africa Blockchain Incubation Program is to actually approach the 54 countries on this continent. So when we spoke with the board of directors about what we are doing, they were like, man, you guys are crazy. I mean, how can you able to move around 54 countries just in 1 year? So we have to expand gradually. Based on the success of what we've done last year, we're now expanding to 2 additional countries, which is Zimbabwe now and Egypt. Zimbabwe and Egypt because blockchain technology is less discussed in some of these countries. Yes, we know about cryptocurrencies being discussed in those destinations, but the use of actual blockchain technology in that area is very less discussed about. And also there are limited stakeholders talking about the use of blockchain technology in that area. So reason why we are working with businesses in those countries to bring them on board on the blockchain technology. And I told you we have worked with startups here in Rwanda. Can I have a representative of NII? So these are part of people that came from last year. Can we please clap for them? Yeah. They are testament to what we have done. And again, at the end of the day, we hope to have the next cohort after this program. Again, I've told you the reason why we choose Zimbabwe. And here's our program focus since March and now June. We have the platform that we're working with them. Is a combination of virtual and also physical programs. So this is the first time we all are seen together after 4 months. You know, the first 3 months was where we engaged with them virtually on our platform to understand what they are doing, then connect them with mentors and faculty to also straighten out what they are doing, refine their idea, and also help them to work on the NEAR protocol, which happened to be our sponsor for this incubation program. Then the demo day, where they need to come out and show to the world what they have been working for the past 3-4 months. And mind you, this incubation program is actually a year program. The first 4 months is an incubation period where we sit down with them for the true 4 months to understand what they are doing again, and also cook them up properly to have a strong foundation in blockchain technology. Because we can't just allow them to work with them for 1 week or 1 month before they can understand what blockchain is. Even we, as in quote consultant or expert, we are still learning what blockchain technology is. But the first 4 months is to really sit down with them and understand what they are doing and bring them on board on the blockchain technology. Then afterward, for the next 8 months, they go back and forth with the faculty and get much more investment in what they are doing so far. Then our partner, last year we worked with MakerDAO. MakerDAO is a stable crypto that supports payment and financial inclusion. So they're the one that, that's what NII is also implementing on their platform. But this time around, we move much more broader to Near Protocol. Near Protocol is a blockchain platform that allows you to work on several businesses and also several use cases. I'm also very interested in this cohort and what they are doing. Personally, I have a kind of bias, even though I'm in the blockchain space. Let's talk about cryptocurrency, but I want to know what other guys are doing with other use cases, what these guys are doing. They're talking about education, real estate, agriculture, credit scoring. Those are things that we want to talk about blockchain on the continent, not the hype around cryptocurrencies. Then the application criteria is just very simple and also broad at the same time. We limit the selection since we are considering Egypt and Zimbabwe, so we focus on citizens from those particular countries, and then also we have the age limit as well, because the younger they are, the younger they're able to understand blockchain technology. Although I might be wrong, there are many other folks that they can even contribute much more in the blockchain space. And also, I mentioned they also have good, strong case. You see many of them coming out to tell us what they are doing today. And also, they already have in their stage, or they already run businesses already in Zimbabwe or Egypt. Then our participants, we have a Tejiri housing company, we have the Meat Condition, we have the Umoja Lands, and also we have the Real Fast. For Tejiri housing company, we have Tanaka and Vusa. Going to talk more about what they are doing, talking about land title on the blockchain. And also we have Meat Condition, we're talking about education using NFTs. And also, we have the Refast as well, looking at how they can provide housing to low-income earners or middle-class people in Egypt. And also, we have Umuja focusing around use of blockchain in agriculture. Then, we also need to bring forth our mentors and faculties that supported this program from March to now. Part of our mentor is Dr. Tammy Francis, has been a good help and also a stakeholder in the blockchain space all the way from the US. Same also, we have Olayinka Odeniro. She's the chairman and the founder of the Black Women Blockchain Council in the US and also across the world. Same also double as our advisor at the Africa Blockchain Institute. Then we have Chris Bate. Chris Bate is a blockchain researcher. Not only that, Chris Bate did the first land title project in Ghana. Yeah. And also, finally, we have Abhishek from India, helping the agri startup understand how they can put blockchain in what they are doing. So today is a demo day, and we have ground rules for folks that eventually come and pitch to what they are doing. And I'm very happy that they have been working with faculty mentors, investors, even before now. So we don't expect anything less but the best from those that come to pitch to us today. And they have 7 minutes to tell us about what they have been doing for the past 4 months. And also we have 3 minutes afterwards for us to ask them questions on what they have been doing and possible. I'm sure we have many rich pockets in here. Any rich pocket in the house? To be able to invest in them. And also, I'm sure some of us are so rich that we don't want to publicly show ourselves, so we have, in the papers that are in front of you, you can see there's a link there. You could just go to the link and also register your interest to invest in their project, and we'll surely arrange for you to meet with them afterwards. So guys, what next is invest, invest, invest. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Invest, invest, and invest. Before we go to the next session, which I'm sure most of us are waiting to see the pitching, let us fill these tables here. I think we are very few. We are all VIPs here. There are no IPs and Ps that attended. So let me ask the people at the back to please come and fill these seats here. It would be good for those who come a bit later so that they can take the back seats. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Please feel free. Feel free to upgrade yourself. Yeah, we have seats here. Some added information. We have another free bottle of water at the front. Amazing. Great. I have two seats here. Why don't you want to take the front seats? It's not for the speakers or the guest of honors. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll stop it from there. As we are getting ready for the different solutions or pitching ideas that are going to be given to you, allow me to introduce a video. And unfortunately, we couldn't be with Kevin Imani, a CEO of Sankore 2.0, but we have a video, and he's here with us in spirit and on tech, if I can say so. Allow me to have us listen to the keynote speech, and then I'll be back introducing the different sessions that are going to be happening here today. So let me have the technical team help me on that moment. Otherwise, thank you and enjoy.
Hey everybody, my name is Kevin Imani and I am super excited. In fact, I was supposed to come in person, but I got sick, so I wouldn't be able to come physically. You probably would hear a little bit, got a stuffed up nose, but long story short, I'll still be able to talk a little bit more about what we do and really kind of get a little bit excited also about the future for NEAR in East Africa as being the first NEAR hub in Africa as well. I'll talk a little bit more about that in detail, but before that, I want to welcome you to Sankore 2.0. Hopefully you can't see my slide, but really, maybe you've heard about it, maybe you're not, but I definitely want to give you a little bit of an overview of who we are, what we do, what our goals are, what our values are as well. And hopefully we can even think about ways to even collaborate, because we're definitely looking for more collaborations and partnerships as well. So to jump right into it, I'm going to give you a brief kind of overview what we'll talk about, right? So we'll definitely go into the pillars, talk about the goal, of course, our roadmap coming in a few months, a little bit about the community and our team. So I always love to talk about the genesis of why I believe why we use the name Sankore to represent what we do with blockchain technology in Africa. And maybe you've heard of it, maybe you're not, but it really goes back down to the 7th century, right? 7 centuries ago. It was 15th century to be precise, in Timbuktu in Mali. There was an educational center at the time where it was called Sankore, right? That's why the 2.0 comes into it. But anyways, it was called Sankore. And what I loved about the story is that it was seen as one of the most prestigious and innovative space of knowledge sharing and production. And I really looked up to that narrative, because not only was it indigenous to Africa, but it was also one of the most prestigious places to be in, right, in terms of knowledge sharing and production. And I really thought that we have now technologies available at hand where we can provide the equal setting, or that equal kind of position where we can really be front runners for this technology. And really simply, I wanted to echo really what this represented at the time now with what we have with blockchain, which is why I called it 2.0. So it kind of goes back. In fact, that's one of the backyards, one of the classrooms, in fact, of Mali, Timbuktu, of Sankore. So it really goes back into the values that was represented at the time that we want to echo now as well, which is definitely quality, credibility, and consistency in every single thing that we do. So that's what we were looking to put in forth. Now, you may have seen it, may have heard of it, but we are also the first regional node for NEAR protocol in Africa. So I'm definitely going to dive into what this means and what this will mean for the future. So going into this, really, what we do is that it's very simple. We want to integrate NEAR blockchain to projects and solutions in Africa. That's what it is. NEAR, I believe, is still a protocol that has a lot of value, a lot of weight in terms of room, and it needs more visibility, to my opinion. related to that, and we really think that we can push that forward. So how do we do that, right? How do we conduct, or how do we provide more integration of Near protocol into solutions and projects in Africa? Of course, now we focus on East Africa, but we're definitely looking to expand as well. We do this with three main pillars: academy, community building, and incubation, which is technically really the projects. So in our academy, I'll have a brief slide about that as well. Really what we do is that we have certification programs where we kind of put our any developer who's interested in becoming certified and hopefully then eventually get a job into a project that is building on Near can get through our training. So here you have a brief view of the certification programs that we have, and these have been developed by Near Education, so we sort of extend that here. So we have courses and certification programs for analysts, for developers, and also for instructors, right? If you want to teach more developers how to code. And the language of Near, of course, is Rust, but is definitely tailored towards those who are really keen, coming from different languages as well, to build on Near protocol. So our certification programs are run technically on a weekly basis. So we have trainings and workshops going on every single week. And really the funnel is pretty simple. We are casting the net as wide as possible. Anybody who's interested could register. You just need a test net eventually to get into the workshop, attend the workshop, submit a demo, we review it, and then you get certified. Now the skill that you would have acquired over time would then be a skill that you could use to build on a project, or to work alongside a project. In fact, we are building as well a place that will allow for more projects to get to supply, or at least to get advantage of the talent that we would have certified, right? So this is really what we try to build, is that funnel of talent, the pool of talent that would have gotten certified and get into job opportunities. So that's what we do with our academy. Community building is predominantly based on our events and reporting and communicating about those. As you know, blockchain is still very recent, right? It's still very kind of new and nascent in a lot of spaces in East Africa. So education part of that as well is getting on the ground and kind of going back to the basics and discussing about with students, with entrepreneurs, with tech hubs, etc., about blockchain, Web3, different layers, etc., and NFTs and DeFi, and all these different kind of layers, to also get people more educated about that. Because of course it's important, right? If we want to nurture our education, we have to be on the ground, and we will have to eventually also get those events going. So we do events every single month. We have different types of events. We have online events, meetups, but also standard events where we have 200 to 300 people in a room. And so that's what we do right now in Kenya. We're aiming to run this for the entire year, and then looking at doing more events outside of Kenya as well. So we also have a bounty ecosystem, like a DAO basically, which allows for those who are not developers to still be engaged with Web3 tooling by claiming bounties, getting compensated by Near tokens, and kind of get a bit familiar as well with that technology. So that's what we do as well. And for this is a little bit more of an explanation of our events, right? So this was a pitch competition that we've done. We also do pitch competitions. We aim to do them at least once every quarter, just because of the volume of the project we get in. We aim to give them also a fast grant, which I'll talk about that just in a second. But it gives you a little bit of a picture, really, of what these events look like. We definitely aim to also have a ratio between women and men, just because we also have noticed that we need to provide more of a space for women to kind of get at least included within these spaces, because there's a lot of talent out there, and I think generally speaking, exposure of Web3 is still very new, especially within our setting. So that's just kind of a view for you to see, and this has been done with our team, which have done an incredible job to set this up in a relatively short time as well. So projects, you may be interested about that as well. So we provide fast grants. So what are these? So fast grants are technically grants that we give to projects that are willing to build on Near. We cap it for the fast grant. The cap is $50,000. Now, how can you get access to these fast grants, right? So we have a few prerequisites. Of course, the most important thing is it needs to be a project built on Near, or aiming to build on Near, right? Expressing meaningful interest to build on Near. So that's really important. That's even one of the biggest criteria. Now, of course, there's a few other sub-criteria that we're looking into do in terms of viability, right? This is where, as you submit a project, we would analyze it, and then we would look at different conditions, the business model, the MVP, right? The development of the solution as well. Like, what is the actual development plan for this project? Look at the team as well, right? So these are the few metrics that we're looking to, and we'd pretty much provide these grants to projects then to get them off the ground and get going. Of course, the FAST grant is the initial, I would even say is the initial starter, the initial package, because of course projects will have the respective budgets for to start. So we would definitely, we gave basically this fast grant to kind of give you a faster grant to get you off your feet, and then eventually you can provide or get access to more grants after that as well. So, and for everything that I'm discussing about, of course, if you have more questions, you can always ping me or ping our team, and we definitely provide you more answers to that. And so now really the roadmap that we're looking to go moving on is really that we have a really exciting project going on in Zambia, where we actually have a partnership with the Ministry of Science and Technology to provide a pilot study to integrate blockchain technology for social good, which I'm really, really excited about, because we do that with the United African Blockchain Association. And that can really be one of the starting ground, or start work, basically the foundational works of eventually adopting more blockchain tools and blockchain solutions, and I would even say at large infrastructures for the country, for its demographics, for the youth, really, because they're going to be one of the most prevalent users, the most active users, given their mobile adoption at etc. So that's really exciting. That's running around across June and July, and we're probably going to do a few events moving forward with that as well in the month of July, perhaps August. And then we got NearCon in September, which is the second edition, or the second conference of Near. Will be held in Lisbon, and we'll be equally discussing about what we've done so far as the regional hub for the last year, really, and most importantly as well, announcing a few new really cool projects, and also I would even say at large opportunities for our developers as well that get certified. So really, this is kind of where we're heading and where we're going. So of course, we're not doing this by ourselves. I'm not doing this by myself. We're building a team. We'll keep building the team as well. So we have an approximate team of at least people who are fully engaged, close to 10 to 15 people. The reason why I count a bit more than 10 is because we have also ambassadors that are strategically located in different universities to attract more talent into our funnels and into our events and into our certification programs. And we also have a relatively large community in terms of our Telegram group, but also our socials, this is where we share, of course, all our communication as well. And we definitely are going to deploy very soon a newsletter as well, where we can talk a little bit more, some really cool announcements to kind of keep some of our announcements up going, and kind of keep the communication out there in terms of what we do on the ground. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have so far, and what we're doing now. Really, how I would love to end is more on two notes, really. One is we're given that we're now sort of the regional hub of Near, there's a lot of traction that we're going to start getting, and a lot of operations that we're going to start conducting, that anybody who's interested on building on Near or joining the community can easily do that with our proximity. So that's one. And then second, we are also actively looking to grow and scale, right? Especially outside of Kenya. So if you also can identify similar projects such as the Zambia one in your respective country or anywhere else, then that's also an opportunity to plug in relatively easily, where we can just extend what we do and then eventually start kind of like deploying progressively some of our activities in other neighboring countries. So that's what we are looking to do. So if you know anybody who would be interested, or even if you have interesting prospect that would be interested in joining the team and thinking together, because I think this is also a collaborative effort, we're more than happy to get on a call, chat, get feedback, exchange ideas, partner as well. So yeah, I would say thank you for listening. If you have any other questions, do please ping me. I'm reachable on Telegram. You can check our website out, follow us on Twitter. Yeah, and hope to talk to you soon. All right, thank you guys. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Well, as he said, thank you very much for listening. That was Kevin, and you can easily reach out if you have any more questions. Welcome once again for those of you who've just joined us. We started a few minutes ago. And I think one thing I would say, maybe some of you are like me, you might not have any idea of how blockchain works. How is it coming in with agriculture and education? I think the best thing before we get to listen to different people pitching, let's get educated about it. Don't you think so? Personally, I think I'll do that for me. Even if it wasn't on the program, I would put it on. Because before I listen to the brilliant ideas, I need to have the foundation and an understanding of it. And who's best to do that apart from himself, Executive Director of Africa? Now he's going to have a small conversation around the business of blockchain innovation here in Africa. Allow me to welcome Mr. Kayonde Babarinde. He's going to be introducing the panelists, and I hope you follow, take notes. That will help you understanding the different ideas and solutions that are going to be pitched after that session. Ladies and gentlemen, Kayonde is taking over the moment, and for those of you who want to, tweet about this, talk about it, this is the time for you to capture some of the information that you might not know. And then I promise you after that, we'll get to see why we are here, the 4 brilliant, amazing business ideas and solutions from different parts of the world, actually, because we have them coming from different parts of Africa, and then we'll get to hear from them. Kayonde, if you're ready, I think this will be the perfect moment to take over the session. It's going to be a panel discussion for a few minutes for you to understand the blockchain innovations here in Africa.
Thank you very much. Good evening again. So today we'll be talking about the business of blockchain innovation in Africa. Back and forth, I'm sure most of us have heard about blockchain technology, but this time around, since we are working with startups, and those startups are running businesses, they're entrepreneurs, and also we are in an innovating environment, especially here in Austin. So we want to understand today, through the panel discussion, what are people doing using blockchain technology. I mean, what's the business idea of blockchain technology here in Africa? Is there any progress? I mean, are we deteriorating? Is there any new thing coming up? And also, what are the gists that probably we cannot even get? We'll probably surf on the internet, and some expert or consultant are here to give us some information about it. So to help dispel and tell us more about this panel discussion, we'd like to invite one of the panelists, which is Sean. Sean is the founder of African Crypto. Can you please clap for him as he comes? Yes, please. And the second person to join is Thierry. Can you please clap for Thierry? Thierry is the CEO of the Blockchain Tech Solution. Thank you. So today, we'll be talking again about the business of blockchain innovation in Africa. So I'll first ask 2 of you general questions, then I'll go to more specific. The first question I have is, we'd like to know what's your background and how do you get to know about blockchain technology? So starting with you, Sean.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Cody. Is this thing on? Screen. Testing. Can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. Thank you. In terms of how I got into blockchain, I stumbled across, I started hearing about Bitcoin in 2013, and it was like, the price is going up, what is this thing? At first I thought it was absolute nonsense, and then the price kept going up, and I said finally, okay, why do I keep hearing about this thing? I need to look into it. And once I looked into it, I said, this is amazing. And one of the things that helped me to understand it quickly was because I'm from Zimbabwe, and as a lot of you know, we've had our issues with currency, and pretty much like everyone in Zimbabwe is a currency expert. So it was, even the guy on the street, I promise you, he can talk to you about macroeconomics. So immediately I understood that. Eventually I went to law school. I ended up becoming a crypto lawyer in London, and I was got to work like on the Coinbase IPO and a few other regulatory matters. And then I just saw that this thing kept blowing up and blowing up and blowing up. And I'd always known that when it finally hits in Africa, it's going to be absolutely massive. And so I always knew that I would, as soon as that happened, I would come. And so I moved here in February to start AfricanCrypto.com, and I chose Rwanda because it's such a beautiful country. That's my story.
So, Thierry.
Okay, so my name is Bienyo Thierry, and I'm Rwandan. That's the first thing. And the first time I heard about blockchain, it was in 2014, and like we had a discussion with my brother. He wanted to build something that I couldn't hack. Like I used to be like I had this passion about computers and everything. I used to break a lot of stuff, like technology stuff, and then he told me, I'm going to build a technology that you can't break. And he explained and going like, this is blockchain, it goes in this. For you to enter in it, you need just to hack all of the people who are connected to it. And I said to him, no, you can't just achieve that. He tried building that, and then he lost passion of that because it was taking too long. And then I got excited from that. I needed to understand more, what is blockchain? What is like the architecture of blockchain? Why is something that, why is the technology that people say like it can't be hacked and all of those stuff? That's what got me into blockchain development. And I've worked with different companies like across the world, like doing blockchain development, like creating smart contracts. Like I've worked with different like chains and other awesome technologies. I tried artificial intelligence, like I did much working with remote companies, and then since the start of the COVID, it becomes most companies like started employing like remote workers and all of that. That's where I got many ideas and decided to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to start this. Like I started my own blockchain development company in Rwanda, and it doesn't only focus on Rwanda, but it is in the means of transforming Africa and just try to bring those awesome technologies to Africans, and then they get to access, they get to know what is blockchain, they get to get those awesome applications, and that's my background, and that's it.
Interesting. Let's clap for him. I mean, Thierry made it difficult for us to find a blockchain person in Rwanda. So I think your brother did very well to teach you. And also, talking about the fact that say blockchain cannot be hacked, I mean, that's a very serious debate and a very serious tenet that we need to find a different time to discuss. I mean, is it true that we can hack blockchain? I mean, okay, but let's go on. So I'd like to ask again, generally speaking right now, I'm sure, again, we'd like to know, what is blockchain, at least from your perspective, opinion, and thought? What is blockchain?
Okay, I'll go before the technical guy. So I describe blockchain as a distributed ledger. It's basically a ledger. You know, some people even go as far as saying it's just an Excel spreadsheet, except that this spreadsheet is divided and sort of sealed off in time. So in certain windows of time, you can add transactions to it, and then after that window of time, it is closed off and then passed on to all the other computers in the network, and then you start writing the next block and so forth. And this is what makes it difficult to tamper with, because once those transactions are locked in, you can't go back in time to change what's already been recorded.
Thierry.
Okay, perfect. So for me when it comes to a question like what is blockchain, like I wish I can be a preacher and then preaching you.
Not now.
Okay. That's it. So in order to understand blockchain, we need, like, I'm going to take you on a small like imagination. We are going to imagine like a world where people are connected, where you are connected to your neighbor, where like you can access same things like as your neighbor, where you have the same information, where all of you like have right to the technology, where all of you like, where there is no one saying, okay, this is the president of this, and then this is the one who is being read. Like, it's a technology that is built like distributed like among people. It doesn't have any central position controlling it. That is why like it is called decentralized technology. it's a technology where me and you have the right like to vote on each decision that can be made across of it. It's a technology that like you have same amount of information. It's a technology where there is no hideout in the background, like saying, okay, this information should be private, like this is, like we did this study, but the result of those study were hidden. It's the technology where you can know like this is the amount of transaction that has been done, this is this and this. So the first issue that comes tackling was the transactions. Like back in the days, you used to send, when you want to send like money from Rwanda to USA, you need to pass like into different person, like this is the link of this is the link of this, and it can take up like less than, if it is very short, it can take like a day. But a technology that come, like once you send anything to your, any money or any transaction to your family member who is in another country, and then it can reach there in a few minutes. That's the technology we're talking about, and that is blockchain. I won't go into much technical stuff, but that is blockchain.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, to go more specific right now, so what sort of blockchain innovation are currently existing in Africa? And also, how far have we gone in terms of the adoption of blockchain?
Okay, so this is pretty much what I do day to day. Is I spend time scanning to see what companies are operating on the continent, what they're doing, what category are they in, because I think we need more transparency as to what is happening in that regard, and there's a lot of work to be done in that for everyone. And so from what I've seen, a lot of the companies that are out there these days, especially the most popular use cases that we're seeing in Africa, is the payments and remittances. I would say that they're the most common, and they are right across the continent. You've got lots and lots of examples. And then you've got, of course, a lot of DeFi solutions that are coming out. For example, some of you may be familiar with a project called Send. That's from Nigeria. It came from the Google startup pathway, and they just announced that they now have 100,000 users, and they only hit 50,000 users in April. So they're growing very quickly, and it's quite remarkable that they've been able to double their users in the last 2 months, even though we're in a bear market, and a lot of projects are struggling to keep their users. And so, can you remind me the rest of that question? Because I get.
How far?
How far?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I would say it really depends where you are. From what I've seen, I think the ecosystem that's the furthest ahead is Nigeria, just in terms of if you look at how many NFT artists are there, how many people are doing the NFT thing, if you look at how many people are building DeFi solutions, just in terms of, even when you look at their P2P volumes, right, they have the highest P2P volumes on the continent. So I would say if you're talking about penetration, it has penetrated the furthest in Nigeria, but there's still a long way to go for the whole continent.
All right. Thierry, I mean, you are the blockchain developer and also technician in this space, especially from the Rwandan perspective background. I want to also address the issue around skill. I mean, do we have, do businesses in Africa have the required skill for blockchain innovation? And if we don't have the required skill, how do you think we can really address that gap?
When it comes to skills like blockchain knowledge, like in Africa we have few like people who are skilled to do actual implementation of the ideas. Like many people can have ideas, like can say I need this type of application, I need this type of system, but the people who are going to implement that, at most, like people outsource them in Ukraine, in those eastern part of the world, and also in the western part of the world. But when it comes to Africa, there are few developers. Like as a matter of fact, he was amazed when he heard about a blockchain developer in Rwanda, and many people are amazed, like
because we have been finding.
Many people are amazed because I haven't worked with any company in Africa. Like, I haven't worked with any company in Africa. Most of the time is US-based companies and Europe-based companies. You can't find you can't find like African companies pushing and saying we need this type of skilled developers. So there is a gap, a big gap when it comes to skill set and knowledge into blockchain development. So what can be done is what I'm trying to do. Like my company, I have five persons that I'm like teaching and showing them like part of my skill set and getting them to enter into blockchain development, coming outside of other coming out like from other software development fields like front end and all of that. So I'm trying to bring them to blockchain so that like we can start from there and build something. It doesn't start from like 100 people. It comes like a small part of people who have like the right to say we are going to educate this and we want to go into the right way. And I think that can be done if I'm doing that in my country, if I'm doing that like in Kigali, like each person, like you can start and go into your community and just to, you can also link them to me, and I'll be glad just to have a big community of developers that I can teach for free, and then we can grow this community and have many African developers as we can have. Thank you.
All right. So, Sean, I'd like to go more deeper. We're talking about business is money. This time around, let's focus about the financial sector, which is where blockchain is more pronounced here on the continent. So, do we have structure to adopt blockchain innovation in the continent? To give you more clarity. So, most people talk about the idea of financial inclusion and the bankless. I'm sure you guys have read about the story, and the question remains, are they using those slogans to relay investors or investment to invest in their idea, but not really banking the bankless people? And those actually bankless people are those living mostly, rural area. People are also living in city as well that don't have bank account, many thanks to Momo. But countries like Nigeria or even Niger or Senegal, they have to use their bank account. So in places where there's no Momo, which is with a closer financial infrastructure, and we want to send money to our grandma in that particular location, and there's no Momo, there's no power supply to power the function phone, and we are talking about banking the bankless. How is blockchain going to help that particular slogan?
Okay,
let me rephrase the question again. Talking about the structure, infrastructure, financial technology infrastructure. So the question is, do we already have the structure, existing structure that allowed the support of blockchain innovation in financial sector on the continent?
Right, that's a great question. And I take the position that at a minimum you need a cell phone, right? And it doesn't have to be a smartphone. There are a number of solutions that are being developed, right, that work in a similar way to Momo, where you can enter in the codes and then it can interact with a blockchain, right? So it will tie the blockchain wallet to your phone number, and then you can do transactions that way. And these days, right, even feature phones, they've gotten to the point now where for even people in the lowest income categories, they can eventually get their hands on one, and we can kind of see the technology going in that direction. I agree with you that banking the unbanked, it's almost a red flag now when you hear that. You're like, okay, tell me how are you going to do this? Because it has been abused. But in terms of financial inclusion, something that I'm really excited about is alternative credit scoring. I think that is the one. And basically what's happening in the credit space. So just to clarify for those who may not be on the financial side, credit is just lending and borrowing. And you've got some projects that I'm excited about are ones like Goldfinch, and another one that I learned about today, I can't remember their name. But anyway, basically what they're doing is they're going into the rich world and basically getting users to contribute their stable coins, so that they build like giant allocations of stable coins, let's say 10 million, and then they will go to a lender here in Africa and then lend them, provide that capital to them. And because that lender is already in Africa, they are already knowledgeable about what a credit-worthy person in a place like Nairobi or Lagos looks like. They're able to make the right decision and actually provide a better return. And it's a win for the lenders because they get a higher rate than they can in other parts of the world. And it's a win in Africa because now all of a sudden you're getting more capital in that's willing to take the risk of lending to these people. So I think that's for me, from where I'm sitting, alternative credit scoring is an area that's really going to do a lot for financial inclusion because it's going to make the cost of borrowing cheaper.
All right, thank you. Thierry, what are your thoughts on innovating businesses in Africa through the use of blockchain technology? Your thoughts on innovating businesses in Africa through the use of blockchain technology?
My thought on that is that Africa is the best area for blockchain. The reason of that is because most of the countries in Africa are still in the development. They haven't achieved that level of development that like we see in other places. We are still developing. We are seeing technology, we are using technology from Europe and other stuff, like we are learning technology outside of Africa. So Africa, if you need to start, once you are starting anything, if you need to start, once you need to start from something that was already established, it's going to be very hard. But for us, we are going into that area where we need perfect establishment of the technology. So Africa is the perfect start where blockchain can be included into most business, and we can achieve that. If we are going into more digital Africa, transformation of Africa into digital Africa, Africa is where it's possible, the blockchain and all of that. That is my thought. Africa is the best area for blockchain. That's the first thing. And also the adoption of blockchain can be very much easier because we doesn't have established technology. That's the second thing. And the third thing is that we can take on this speed into development that we have and achieve that at any pace that we want. If even blockchain and cryptocurrency make it much easier for the development of Africa, because once you go into other let's say it's Rwandan currency, it's based somehow on the dollar and thing, once the dollar goes up, our currency goes down and something like that. But imagine us having our own currency, a token and anything, and then we can say we can say the liquidity of it is like this, and then we can have a perfect Africa where we have money, monetary and other stuff that aren't controlled by the colonials or something like that, based on any other factor. Yeah, we can grow from that. Business needs to understand that if you want your business to succeed, if you want to go into the upcoming technology, you are going to Web3. It's another transformation. If you want to go into that flow and say, oh, okay, I saw this coming, and then I was, oh, they are doing that, and I don't you can't regret once you enter into this perfect moment, because it's the perfect time to enter into blockchain as Africans for the digital transformation of Africa. Thank you very much.
All right. So before I open the floor for everyone to ask questions, Sean, I'd like to ask you, what are your thoughts around blockchain regulation? I mean, you mentioned about currencies, especially talking about CBDCs. CBDCs here in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, and also interesting. Zimbabwe also is trying to work on CBDCs too. So what's your thought around blockchain regulation on the continent?
So another great question, and probably the most important question in this discussion, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's it's the one that lays the foundation for what's going to come next. Whenever I talk, I tend to speak a lot about Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa, because they're the big. I call them the big three, and sometimes people include Egypt in that, call them the big four. But when you look at the amount of activity that is happening in Africa, especially in terms of trading volume, about 90% is happening in those three. So and of course, most of the companies that are being started in blockchain and crypto are being started there. So we can kind of, so I'll focus on those, because those are the ones that I'm focused on. So South Africa has been promising for a long time that regulation is coming because of all the scams that are happening over there. Surprisingly, Nigeria has actually come out first, because originally the Central Bank of Nigeria had banned crypto transactions through the financial system. But a couple of months ago, last month in May, the Securities Exchange Commission of Nigeria came through and they said that they kind of put out a body of regulations saying this is how we're going to regulate crypto. So, but of course there's a clash between what the CBN is saying and what the SEC is saying. So they're just going to work through that. But Nigeria is actually now looking very promising, and by the end of the year we could have a clear regulatory regime. South Africa, they're going to do it. They seem very positive. It's just that they want to make sure they're in a good place, because they know that as soon as they open up, they're going to get a lot of applications. And you need to be able to process these applications quickly. For example, the Cayman Islands opened up, and they had like a 2-year backlog of applications. And Kenya, we're still waiting for more clarity there. And I'll just close by saying the one that is actually done really well is Botswana. They published some regulations in February. They passed them, you can already see, because I follow the peer-to-peer volumes a lot. You can see they've already picked up, and because I think there's clarity there. So that's the sort of a view of the landscape.
All right. So, guys, questions from the house? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Fred Mugisha. I'm Managing Director of Skako Limited. My question goes to Thierry. You have talked about, thank you for your presentations. And my question goes to Thierry. I'm asking, on blockchain, let us go to agriculture. Currently, we are doing irrigation, and we are doing our smartphones by sending a command, and you irrigate the land. Now I'm asking, if a farmer does not have a smartphone, can he or she manage to irrigate when he managed to install all what is needed to irrigate the land? Thank you.
Sorry, I did not get
Repeat.
Sorry? If the farm doesn't have a smartphone.
Let me repeat. I'm doing a farming. I have a piece of land. I'm farming. Then the installation is installed. Then the command I'm using my phone, and it is a smartphone. That is a technology. Because I'm sending there what? I'm commanding while I'm here, and I'm irrigating my land. Then the question is, if the poor farmer has just the phone of
A feature phone.
a simple phone, can he manage to irrigate the land if we are doing the blockchain? Thank you.
Okay. To answer that, I'm going to introduce another system. If a farmer who wants to do smart farming doesn't have a smartphone, can he or she do irrigation? The first thing is to go like, okay, what is this type of land? Like, how can irrigation happens? You need to set the timelines. Irrigation happens like 2 or 3 days. And then you can build a system that doesn't depend on smartphone of the farmer, and then that system can auto-execute irrigation on top of the farmer. It's very simple, like, because you need to give to command, okay, this is the time of irrigation, and also that's not smart. Like, you need, like, most of the time you need to press, okay, irrigation happens. That's not smart way of implementing that. The smartest way of implementing that is building a system that auto-irrigate based on the timelines, like analyzing the soil and saying, okay, this time is when the irrigation mostly happens. You can build the system that does something like that, that auto-irrigates the crops without needing the smartphone.
So with or without smartphone, I mean, we have guys also talking about agri-tech. Guys, okay.
All right. Thank you so much for your question, sir. I'd love to add on to what our panelists have said. So to have such a system, it will then incorporate another technology, the Internet of Things. So using the Internet of Things in collaboration with the blockchain technology, what it typically means is that the farmer who doesn't have a smartphone can actually do on-the-ground monitoring using an on-site dashboard, which can then be used to regulate and to command the irrigation to do what it's supposed to do. So it incorporates then two systems, the Internet of Things in collaboration with the blockchain. So in short, it's possible, but maybe where the catch-22 will be in comparison with using a smartphone is that when using a smartphone, you can do what you want to do from wherever you are. But when you don't have the smartphone, you need to be constantly on the ground, making use of the on-site dashboard or the on-site system that will be on the ground. I hope that answers you. Thank you.
Can I have I guess just a question. Why do we need to put this technology on blockchain? I would like to understand that piece.
Okay, first of all, like, the reason why we need to put this technology on blockchain is because on other centralized like platform to build that technology on top of that is when the servers goes down, the crops, like the irrigation of crops will not happen because like the applications are built based on DigitalOcean, a company that is in America, which can go down anytime. Even Facebook went down. Like, once you build that technology on centralized platform where technology can go down like any time, so you are not sure because your crops, once they are not irrigated because like the system failure, the system is down, your crops will die. But why do we need to build that technology on top of blockchain? It's because blockchain like is decentralized. Like, you can't take down all nodes at once unless internet is not there in the world. Like, unless internet like is not there on the world, not functioning anymore. That's why we need that application or technology on top of blockchain. Thank you.
All right. So one more last question. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. By the names of Oration Banner, I'm the CEO and founder of Blue Earth and Hub. I'm an NFT developer, and I would like to ask, like, someone who does NFTs, like an artist of NFTs, how can he enroll himself into blockchain technology and link it with NFTs? How does blockchain technology differs from NFT technology, right? So it's not my first time to hear the word blockchain, but I only hear it from the user wallet that we use in transferring money, cryptos, currencies. So I would like to ask, like, how can someone who does NFTs enroll himself into blockchain technology? Thank you so much.
Sean, could you please speak that?
Okay. All right, we'll both go. So basically, NFTs, the first NFTs, well, okay, we won't get too technical about when they were issued, but NFTs are commonly issued on Ethereum, right? Ethereum differs, and other programming environments. I'm sure you can issue them on Near as well. I haven't looked into that just because there's so much going on. But you can issue them on lots of what we call layer 1 platforms, which is what Near is, which is what Ethereum is, which is what Cardano is, which is what Avalanche is, right? And on these layer 1 platforms, you can issue different types of tokens. You can issue what's called a fungible token, right? So that would be like, what's an example of a fungible token? Chainlink, right? If you have any Chainlink token that you have, you can exchange it with any other Chainlink token, right? And on Ethereum, this type of token is called an ERC 720 token. And then you've got non-fungible tokens, and there's different standards, but they're usually, there's ER 721, I can't remember the other one. And these types of tokens are ones where when you have one of that token, you're not happy to exchange for something else. For example, you and I were non-fungible tokens, right? If someone tried to take me to your mother and say, this is your son, she says, no, there's only one type of my son in the world, and I know, and you're not it, right? So basically what's happening with NFTs is people take a piece of art, but of course it can be anything. It can even be a title to a property, and I suspect we're going to hear about some of that from these guys. And then you attach it to that token, which lives on a blockchain. And there's different ways of making that connection. And then you can now move this token, which represents whatever the object is, from just like any other crypto token. So I would actually argue that there is no NFT without blockchain.
And also, I can add to that is, you say, someone coming having NFT, an artist who come in artistic background, right? The first is to understand what he explained, what is NFT. NFT, you have to understand, it's built on top of blockchain. And also, it is much easier for artists to say their art. You can take your art and then it can be photocopied. If I can take your art as an artist who is very talented, I can also paint it the same way as you did. And then we can say, okay, who is the owner of this? That can be a question which is in discussion. You can say, I'm the owner, I painted it first. You can see, it's written down, 2017. And then the other artist goes, right, 199.99. So that means he may win and all of that. But what does blockchain does? Blockchain give it under NFT. It gives it unique property. Unique token, unique property of your art. Your art can't be anywhere, can't be copyrighted in any way because it lives in a system that can't be edited by anyone, right? So it makes also easier to transfer it to any other person in form of token. Any person who has a wallet can have your art transferred to him easier and all of that. That's why you need blockchain.
All right, thank you everyone. Sorry, we could not take much more questions. We have to run. Guys, please let's thank Mr. Sean and Mr. Thierry for their contribution. It's been nice speaking to you, and hopefully talk after. Thank you.
As cryptocurrencies transition into the mainstream, regulatory oversight has accelerated. For instance, FinCEN's travel rule requires virtual asset service providers to report the identity of users behind certain crypto wallets and transactions. No small task for an industry built on user anonymity. That dichotomy is illustrated by a recent study that found that 56% of the 800 global virtual assets service providers had weak onboarding compliance procedures. Arvo Comply empowers crypto companies of varying sizes and complexities to streamline customer and business onboarding through user-friendly compliance and business solutions powered by facial biometrics, artificial intelligence, smart contracts, and blockchain technology, providing an integrated solution that minimizes the industry's growing regulatory burden. Arvo Comply enables virtual asset service providers to intelligently manage user identities, documents, transactions, and suspicious activity reporting in one holistic platform. More importantly, Arvo Comply creates an immutable audit trail on the Arvo Network's blockchain during onboarding and throughout the client's lifecycle, applying blockchain and smart contracts to your most resource-intensive and cumbersome data reporting and retention tasks. Arvo Comply ensures regulatory compliance doesn't have to be painful or expensive. Start streamlining your compliance workflow today.
Thank you very much. I think this was a good conversation. Thank you, Sean and Thierry, for enlightening us. Honestly, I'll still need more information. I'll be honest with you. These 30 minutes are not enough to really understand this. I think it needs to become basic information. I wish this kind of information could go way back in the education system. You know, as we studied Napoleon's history, we get to understand blockchain from day one, not after the head has a lot of passwords to remember. Then add on the word NFT, basing it on blockchain. Hey, man. But hey, I'm not alone, I'm sure. Now, we are going to be getting to hear more of ideas. You asked a question about agriculture. Guess what? Today is a lucky day. We have someone in the agriculture sector, and I'm pretty much sure will enlighten you. There is a list of different companies that deal with the NFTs that you talked about. You know, however much I see it, but it passes. I guess I'm about to understand. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to open up this space. I hope you have the energy. Are you ready to listen and understand? Yes? Great. Now, the rules are simple. They have 7 minutes. These are pros. They've done it before. They have 7 minutes to present to you their business. And then they also have 3 minutes for the Q&A. That means one question and another answer. But hey, I think the best way to network, my grandfather told me, it's with food and a drink. So what we did, if you don't get enough time to answer the question, I'm sure you've even smelled it already. That's not the AC. That is food at the back. Yeah, so we'll get a moment later on and network and have a drink and then get to ask that personal question depending on your interests. I think that will be better. Now, 7 minutes with 3 minutes of Q&A, giving us 10 minutes. 4 of them in about 40 minutes. I'll be back here giving you what's next on the program. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome the first presenter, Tijere Housing Company. Welcome them like the stars of the day. Thank you. Amazing.
All right, I guess this is our cue to begin. Hi, everybody. My name is Vusa Chimanikire, and this is Tanaka Mambi, and we're the proud founders of Tigere Housing Company, a Web3 fintech prop-tech business driven to reduce the housing deficit in emerging markets by utilizing innovative housing finance products, alternative credit risk assessment, as well as blockchain technology. So let's dive into the problem. What is the problem? Meet Tabo. Tabo is a carpenter who makes over $30,000 a year, and he's in the informal sector in Africa. Tabo struggles to get a home finance loan from traditional banks because he doesn't have traceable financial information. Meet Chido. Chido is a young professional looking to invest in real estate in Africa or anywhere in the world in emerging economies. However, Chido doesn't meet the investment minimums for a lot of the vehicles that are currently out there. Meet Building Society Africa, a company that has the mandate to build and deliver mortgages to people on the African continent. However, this company is struggling to reach the consumer, struggling to reach borrowers because they don't have the ability to adequately assess the creditworthiness of the borrowers in their market. And finally, meet Acme Contractors, a construction company that struggles to raise capital to be able to build certain projects, to be able to put people into them housing developments. Now enter the solution, which is Tigere.
So our solution to these housing challenges is to rethink rental and mortgage contracts, in particular to make them more relevant to immediately address the needs of home seekers, making it both more affordable and easier to begin the journey towards home ownership. The second thing is to make it much more inclusive. It was discussed earlier around financial inclusion. But to make it more inclusive by having a no credit history credit model that utilizes financial analysis and psychometrics in order to determine someone's willingness to pay and capacity. And then the last is to make it more efficient. Building it on the blockchain has better security and also future-proofs the business as finance starts to move in that direction.
So what products are we offering? So our three main products are incremental housing finance, an innovative rent-to-own product, and an investment platform and a marketplace for housing development and investment. So let me break these down. An incremental housing finance loan is basically giving out loans to these consumers who are wanting to build bit by bit, stage by stage to complete their homes. The second product being the rent-to-own, where one of our consumers who comes in or home seeker will get keys to a house after paying a deposit, and over a certain period of time, their creditworthiness is reassured after going through our test, and at which point they'll then convert into a mortgage. And then finally, the marketplace for our investors. We're actually allowing, through the blockchain, investors to invest on a fractional basis through tokenization, which also allows them to come in to early entry and early exit and transferability amongst people in the Tigere ecosystem.
So we're just going to give you a quick demo using Tabo's use case, where he wants to be able to have an incremental loan on our platform. So first, he will register online. And once he's completed this part, he'll be able to select the incremental loan. And then now he goes through the longer onboarding process, which is going to include personal information, his income, expenses, as well as kind of his financial history, including debt. After that, he can now log into his dashboard, which will include both his score from the credit score that's based on the psychometric test that he will also have taken, and then a financial score that's based on looking at the different ratios of the financial information he provided. So once he's done that process, he can now apply for a loan. And he could just go into the platform, doesn't ask for too much information, mainly the amount, the length of time that it's going to take him to pay back, and the system will automatically generate an interest rate based on that and show him kind of the total amount that he will need to pay back. Again, once he's gone through this, he can now click apply. And at that point, he'll have to wait till his loan's approved. And as you can see here, now it's approved. So once his loan is approved, he'll be able to now go in and kind of track all the information related to the loan and make payments. So I'll just now move on to the second use case, which is...
So do you guys remember Cheeto? So Cheeto would be able to register on our platform. And this is Cheeto now entering our platform. Just give her a bit of time. And so Cheeto, once again, is looking for investment in real estate, and she has small amounts of money to invest. So we're giving Cheeto the capacity to invest a fractional amount of money into our projects. And so the blockchain allows us to do that. So there's Cheeto logging in, and Cheeto finally gets in and clicks on invest in a project. Immediately, she then has an opportunity to fill in all her information for her profile and risks that she's looking to take. Cheeto then goes onto a dashboard and invests in a project. Currently, we have our flagship 100 House project, which is a tokenized project there, and she's able to invest. Immediately, she has $2,500. It calculates the loan maturity, and she's able to make a payment. And now on her dashboard, Cheeto is awaiting approval to be able to invest. And this is all happening on the Near protocol. This is all being recorded. On top of that, Tabo's credit score is also going to be on Near protocol to be able to be verified for security and to create borderless credit across Africa. So now we're going to think about how big we're going to get.
Yeah, so very quickly, there is exciting and substantial opportunity in this area because a lot of countries are suffering from very high housing deficits, and they're being very slow in responding to actually addressing this critical need. So from our, and we've taken very conservative market penetration estimates here, and you can see that there is a huge opportunity with a total potential revenue over 5 years of 48 million. I'm afraid I might have to just move a bit quicker because our time is short. So just to quickly touch on the business model again. So at launch, we're looking at having these 3 products. The first one is that incremental finance, and that's really going to have the greatest reach because you'll be looking at loans where the max size is 2,000, payment period is around 6 months or less, and it'll really be our direct-to-consumer product. Second, we have the rent-to-own, and for that, we'll be really looking at working with property owners who have housing stock that they would like to get out, and using our credit models, we'll be able to find the right type of folks to come in as renters, build their credit history, and then they can convert over to a mortgage that can be held by a traditional bank. And finally, the tokenized investments, which will be on the blockchain, and this will be dealt with more in sort of a marketplace style platform, and this will be really a B2B, B2C, as you'll have the investors be able to make full or partial investments in the products.
So now let's look at the competitive landscape. So on the African continent, we just have about 4 businesses that seem to try and do some of these things, but they don't tick all the boxes that Tigere manages to tick. As Tanaka already mentioned, we are a B2C, B2B business. A number of these institutions are only B2B, whereas Tigere is offering a full online process on onboarding, registered lender certificates, housing development. We're offering fractional investment into properties, and of course, credit scoring, which is a commodity for our consumers. So how are we going to manage to do this? We've got a terrific team. I myself am a serial entrepreneur, and I've been in the construction industry for 7 years. I've built a business. I've built multiple units, totaling over $800,000 in revenue. My partner here, Tanaka, is an amazing guy. 11 years experience in financial analysis and strategy and consultancy. He's worked for one of the biggest consultancy firms on the planet, and more recently, he's been a director for a retail lender in the United States. And of course, we've got our technologist who's not here with us today, Tendai Mazikanda, an amazing guy. He's got over 10 years of experience as a full-stack developer. He's developed an insurtech business. He's also worked with a number of blue-chip companies in Southern Africa. So let's look at our traction. I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly, but since inception, which was 2020, we've managed to secure some really big contracts and agreements, one being our flagship land development, which is going to be 100 houses. We've also registered in Zimbabwe. We've got a partnership with an MFI, allowing us to actually lend currently. And moving forward, we've now registered in Delaware, United States. And then now we're looking at growth. So we're looking to go really fast. From August, once we're done with completion of all of this on the chain, we're going to put it on the mainnet, which is near. From there, we will issue loans within October and quickly launch our rent-to-own by November. By December, we're hoping to break ground with our housing construction projects. And by 2023, we're already looking outwards, which is our target countries being Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Zambia.
So very quickly, as Vusa outlined, a lot of the work that we've been doing so far is really to define and refine our products and understand the operational requirements in order to run Tigere successfully. And so as a result, now our focus is really on completing the technology development and in that way be able to now start issuing loans, initiating the rent-to-own smart contracts, and tokenizing new housing development projects. So we're seeking 700,000 to meet these 3 objectives, and after which we will then be looking for 3.2 million in order to kind of shore up our functions, expand our business within Zimbabwe, and then also begin the process of addressing the regulatory licensing and other kind of legal needs that we will need to do in order to expand to other markets. So, yeah.
So thank you very much. This is us. Let's get in touch.
Amazing. That was a beautiful presentation from Tigere Housing Company. If anybody has a question, I'll only take one. Yes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Marcel. I want to ask about that project. I thought it was an investment project, but if you remember in past 2 months, there is a project called the Incubation protocol. They was offering 20% on annual interest on a stablecoin called the Terra USD. How much the risk anyone can cover in that project? Because on that project called Incubation protocol, there was many billions of dollars was lost. and no one was
If I understand the question correct, basically, are you asking, so as an investment project, how do you protect people from losing their money? Is that roughly kind of? Okay, so this is partly even why we got into the space that we learned, because we're dealing with real estate. And so one of the things for us, because there is the credit component. And so within this project, you always have the collateral of the actual home in question. And so as far as dealing with even delinquent renters, or if you have someone default on their mortgage or their loan, you always have the backup of actually the collateral of the home itself. And so as much as we're dealing with blockchain, we're not necessarily, when we say tokenization, it's really more to make management of that project more efficient. It's not necessarily to say the token has its own inherent value and it's like a coin that can be transferred in much the same way as other cryptos. It's really more about using blockchain to enhance management of what would otherwise be a very complex thing to do, and then use smart contracts to execute things sort of automatically and be able to have oracles outside. Okay, I might get too technical, but to have things that kind of trigger actions within our system. And that's what really creates the efficiencies. And there was brief discussion around, even having NFTs on titles and things like that. Some of that is also what we would be incorporating to kind of allow you to feel confident that when you say you own that house, or as you build your partial share in that house, say on a rent-to-own contract, it's actually reflected with those NFTs and things. But anyways,
yeah, and just to add on to that, we consider it almost as like a digital registry of shares. It's not a new concept to have shares to an asset or a house like that. So imagine a fractionalized home with the actual representation of shares in it. So yeah.
Thank you very much. A gentleman has a question there, so please feel free to reach out to him a bit later on. You can easily network. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate. Beautiful. The reason why we have these fast kind of presentations is for you to be able to stay and get to ask questions later on. Otherwise, if you answer all the questions, there will be no need of networking later on, right? So please feel free to write down that question so that when you meet them, you don't just get their name, but you also get the information you need. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, I'm bringing up on stage another beautiful, beautiful solution, mint condition.
Hello, everybody. I hope our 7 minutes hasn't already started. We're still setting up. Okay, a very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Msekiwa, and I'm joined by Kusawakashe Muwezwa, and we are the co-founders of a platform called Mint Condition. So I want to start this off by asking a question. Who in here has ever used a textbook? Just by show of hands. Right? That's everybody, right? It's a rhetorical question. We've all used textbooks at some point or time. And when you've used a textbook and it's run its course and it's lying there, it doesn't lose its value, right? It's still valuable because someone out there needs to learn what you already learned, right? And now think of a system where if you buy a textbook and you're done with the textbook, or maybe it might not be the textbook for you, but you can then resell the textbook to someone who needs it, and immediately the person who compiled the information gets a royalty and a payment. And it's sort of a learn-to-earn ecosystem. In a nutshell, that's what we do at Mint Condition. But let's break it down. So, next slide, please. Yeah. So technology has revolutionized education. People can teach from anywhere. People can learn from anywhere. But is the experience the same across the board in terms of compensation and in terms of value addition for both the instructor or educator and the student, right? So this is me. I make music, right? I make music, and last year, as an alternative revenue stream, I created a beat making for beginners course, right? And then I was already minting NFTs and selling my music as NFTs. Then I thought to myself, okay, what would it look like if I mint my course as an NFT? But before I got to this point, I looked at other Web2 solutions, right? And I was met with several problems, right? The first problem was that these platforms didn't really cater to me as an African creator or educator. It would be hard for me to make any real money, and because of the way they rank people and the experience is not the same across geographical location, it would take long to get payments because the payment systems usually cater for people in the US or in the EU, and you'd need a large and hard to maintain audience to make any real money. And when it comes to tutorial course trends, a lot of courses, if you look at Udemy or Skillshare, there's low course completion. And people often just share educational material without any or real compensation to the original educator or creator. And this is the problem we aim to solve as Mint Condition. So Mint Condition basically is a platform that allows educators to sell their courses, and it allows the buyers who buy the course to take part in the course, use it, or if they figure out that this course is not for them, but then resell it, and then immediately, on every resale, the original creator gets a royalty. But how do you track this system? How is it going to work? This is when we use NFTs and the blockchain, right? So an NFT is basically a non-fungible token, but it's just a title deed to digital content. It can be a PDF, it can be a video, it can be art, it can be music. It's just a proof of ownership, right? And it's built on the blockchain. We've had a lot of blockchain talk today, but in simple terms, the blockchain just keeps a record of who owns what is going where, and it's immutable and it's open to everyone. It's distributed, it's not centralized, right? So a reintroduction. Mint Condition is a platform that allows creators to mint their courses as NFTs and allows the buyers, the collectors, to resell those NFTs. And automatically, the educator gets a royalty because it's on the blockchain. So it's automatically executed because we have smart contracts, so it just goes directly to them. And then they can resell these courses and, potentially make money. Even sell the course for more than they bought it, potentially, right? So this is our business model. A transaction fee is taken on every NFT minted and sold and resold. We charge a small transaction fee. Then we have a subscription fee that allows creators/educators to pretty much have tools that help them manage their communities. So for example, if someone holds your NFT, they can have perks, they can give like certain, let's just say, benefits or one-on-one courses or that sort of thing, or invite you to their, in real life, like workshops and stuff like that. So our competition. In the Web3 space, there's not anyone really tackling education the way we are tackling it. Most people are focusing on onboarding people into cryptocurrency. But when you look at Udemy, creator royalties, nope. Learner incentives, nope. Skillshare, same story, right? We just want to make the system better. But is there a market for this in Africa, right? The Africa e-learning market reached 2.47 billion in 2021, and it's estimated to grow to 4.71 billion in 2027. This market is going to grow regardless of what happens, and we just want to make sure that it's better and everyone involved gets value from the situation. Right, now I'm going to hand it over to Kuziwa Kwashe, who's going to show you a demonstration of how our site works, minting your NFT, pretty much. So over you to Kuziwa.
How to create a mint and how to mint that too. Okay, so right now it's just going to go through connecting to the Neo network and filling in the information that you need to give as a creator to create your mint package, which you will use to mint to the Neo network. We had to fast forward through it so that we could save your time. Okay, you put in an image, you upload another cover image, you set your royalty percentage, you upload your actual content to Arweave, which is a decentralized network. And then you pay for uploading your content. And then once that's done, you put in your personal creator details and your contact email so that we can get in touch with you and show you what's happening on our platform. And then it loads, and then we go back to our landing page. So if you click on Explore, we should have there it is. There's our new NFT package. So if we click on this one, it should take us to the specific page for our mint. How to mint on mint condition by Kuzzy, right? How to mint on mint condition. It's available on Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. And then this is just a standard video, which will allow us, which is blocked right now because we don't have NFT. So now that we've got the page up, we should just click the mint button. And now you'll be minting the NFT. Okay, we are asked to approve the mint transaction. We approve it. Once that's done, yay, we've minted our token. And if we want to see our NFT, we can just click View NFT, which should take us to a wallet. And all we need to do is go to collectibles. A little more. A little more again. And there it is, how to mint mint condition. Great. So if we go back here, we now have our NFT. If we go to mint, to explore, sorry, it's taking us back to explore. Check on the project again. And then we can unlock our video. And there it is. Our first video on mint condition that we've accessed using our NFT. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, there you go. Anybody has a question? Yes, sir.
Thank you. So my name is Cedric Mupenzi, and I'm a blockchain developer based in Rwanda. Okay, I work from abroad remotely, but I'm located in Rwanda. So I have a question about mint condition, and you say that people can make money off their NFTs, right? How can I make money from the NFT? Do you have a section on mint condition where people can put NFTs on auction, and people can, bid on those NFTs and, something like that? Or do NFTs have bid shares, and people can have shares in those NFTs? And how does it work, basically? Thank you.
That's a really great question. So one of the beautiful things about the blockchain is that it's decentralized. So we are currently working on a marketplace where you can sell and auction out your NFT. But another thing is you can sell it wherever you want as long as it's a marketplace for NFTs. So right now we're working with Mintbase, one of the biggest NFT marketplaces on the Near network, where you can sell it there. So you don't even need to involve us in that process, but we will take a small transaction fee on that resale.
Amazing. As I said, if you have any questions that you want to ask, we are going to have a networking moment. Feel free to approach them. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate and thank you. The next presentation is going to be online. We have a colleague joining us from Rate First. Let's see if we have them online. Please, again, you will be able to ask some questions. But as they get ready, I think I would love to have you, please, after the session, do not leave. We have some good networking session there. Personally, I'll be there. I would love to ask some questions that we couldn't ask before. For example, in terms of agreements and how do I give you my money? You are based in Zimbabwe. I'm here in Kigali. The money is floating around on the line. I think those are the questions that I have, to be honest, because in Africa we are used to face-to-face transactions, hand-in-hand kind of transactions, and now it's uploaded and poof, you give me an NFT. Are we ready? Are we ready on? All right. I think we have a few questions that we'll definitely get to understand. And by the way, for those who have pitched, do you have like tutorials online or where I can find such information about your companies? You do. All right. You can go to and get most of the information about you. Okay. I think as I'm buying some time, I'm going to give you time to ask the question you had for the first team, because we can really use this time better.
Sorry, just a quick question. You have 3 different products. One is incremental, one was rent to own. And so I looked at your structure, it looks like you're positioning yourself into a bank long term. What is your revenue model? Like, are you taking it on a percentage of every transaction that you're in? Just like a bank would? Like, for example, you have $1 million available for people to rent or to loan out. And you underwrite that. It seems like you're underwriting it yourself. And then you underwrite that as, since I've borrowed it for 10%, I'm going to deploy that for 12 or 15 or 16, depending on the person. And then you're going to take that as the incremental money that you're going to make. Is that how your business works?
So, I mean, from a revenue structure perspective, and we'll definitely talk more, but so we're definitely making money on interest. We're also taking other people's money for them, so there's that percentage aspect, but our own capital will also go into the business. We're also getting cash from promotion fees, promoting other people's projects on our platform, allowing people to invest in those projects. Transaction fees on Near, that's actually one of the reasons we chose Near. The gas fees are really good for us. So transaction fees on platform. In terms of the rent to own, we're partnering with entities that have their own housing stock again. So that's almost a service fee to them, where we're channeling people to them to move into their homes. Similarly, we're building our own projects, so there's promotion fee on that and putting people on rent to own, so cash flow. So we've got quite a number of revenue streams. I mean, you could, yes, a bank, building society, something of that nature, yeah. Long term, though.
Thank you. That's all the time that I had to buy you. Thank you for taking that moment.
Thank you, Arthur.
You're welcome. I hope we are ready online, but if we are not, we actually have a fourth person that is here to tell you more. Umoja Lands, I think they also want to talk to you, and a very, very unique solution. I hope we listen in as we get ready on the technical part. As I'm saying, remember, if you have a few questions, feel free to, we'll take one question, but then later on in our networking moment, you will have them ready to answer any question. I hope you're ready. The floor is all yours.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting us. My name is Kumbirai, and I'm here with Tafazwa. We are both co-founders in Umoja Lands. We are an agri-fintech startup that is revolutionizing farmland ownership as well as the post-harvest ecosystem in Zimbabwe. At Umoja Lands, we are revolutionizing farmland, as we have already mentioned. we are helping prospective farmers digitally invest, own farmlands, and increase incomes using NFTs. Did you know that about 4.6 million hectares in Zimbabwe, which is about 80% of Zimbabwe's arable farmland, is underutilized? More than 560,000 smallholder farmers have no access to formal financial services. And ridiculously, these are people who support 12.6 million households in our country. Now, the problem lies where our farmers lack access to vacant farmland, access to formal financial services, accessibility to financial markets, as well as market information. This only taps into a reoccurring food insecurity situation and an agriculture that is under threat. As a solution, we have built an on-the-blockchain farmland and commodity exchange marketplace with warehouse receipt capability. The farmland exchange marketplace will allow our prospective farmers to hold, sell, or buy farmland using NFTs. This basically means that for our farmers or those people who want to farm, they can now own a tokenized land share based on how we conduct our transactions. For the commodity exchange marketplace, our farmers can also tender their produce to guard against their forced sale against their already low producing produce, crop, to factor in the fact that most of them have no easy access to market. Now, our process flow assumes that the farmer has already gotten financing to go through their season. So the farmer tenders in the produce from to the warehouse. Then the warehouse manages the collateral, and then on the blockchain, what then happens is the farmer can apply for follow-on financing without the need to quickly sell off their produce. Next slide. As our benefits, our commodity exchange marketplace cuts down the risk of collateral fraud by 80%, thereby promoting financial inclusion. Where else our less labor-intensive farmland exchange marketplace does not require a lot of knowledge to actually carry out your farming activities.
The market size in Zimbabwe is appetizing for both investors and our startup. We have a total available market of 560,000 smallholder farmers, and our budget target is we are targeting 86,400 smallholder farmers in 3 years. That is also our serviceable, obtainable market. For us to achieve the budget target, we are offering a freemium model of 60,000 smallholder farmers in Zimbabwe, but however, we will translate 30% of those freemium smallholder farmers into paying customer farmers so that we have our sustainability plan. The milestone for Umoja Lands is actually interesting. We started with weeks with $20 in pocket because we didn't have enough resources. But however, in 2020, we managed to register our company. And also in 2022, we managed to innovate our product into financial inclusion, etc. Then in 2024, we are actually working on introducing the Web3. The world with competition, I understand, is the world with quality products. We can say we are a monopoly in our country, but in Africa we are monopolistic, whatever, maybe perfect competition. But what I can say is that our key differentiator is that on the platform, we are adding satellite imagery and artificial intelligence on the blockchain system so that the NFT will use big data sets to draw value or maybe to increase or reduce how we make money.
So how we make money? We charge 12.85% commission based on every transaction that goes through our platform, especially for farmland exchange. At the same time, we derive our value from knowing that the more transactions that we push through banks is the more money we make. We anticipate quite a number of challenges, especially coming from our country, Zimbabwe, where regulation and other factors come into play. We are currently asking for a pre-seed capital of 750,000 US dollars with the capability to give up 10% stake in our company and a return on investment of 35% in the next 3 years. Why the blockchain? The blockchain is incorruptible, which brings credibility to the financial inclusion case. And amongst other things, with current issues like food shortages, food security, and climate change, blockchain can play.
Because of time, our team is well invested with 6 beautiful people. You can see like the founder, Tafadzona Shigavi, with experience in business development, and also we have Kumbrai with computer science. We have 8 years lending from Virginia Svanda in rural micro lending, and we have also partnered with Rural Farmers Hub in Nigeria to provide us with an API for agronomic service, and also we have partnered with Farm Microfinance, the biggest microfinance in Zimbabwe, so that they can support the financial inclusion. And also we are part of Ernst & Young, GIZ, Zimbabwe Association of Microfinance. So now this is our proof of concept, and Mr. Kumbra is going to add it on. Yeah.
Okay, probably you may play the video.
Seems like the video is long, so I just want to skip.
Take one question. What do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Somebody with a question, this will be the right moment before we end it with the video that they're about to play. Well, it looks like the question is in the video, so we'll have to wait. In the video it is.
Okay, for the sake of time, I think maybe Mr. Kumbra will just explain like the video, so you can just explain how the video works for modular lens.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so when the user signs in, they have an option to either go to the farmland exchange marketplace or to go to the commodity exchange marketplace, which is the one that houses a warehouse receipt financing system. So if the user chooses a warehouse receipt financing system or the commodity exchange marketplace, they're supposed to tender in produce. Once they tender in produce into the warehouse, they are then able to get a tokenized invoice or a tokenized receipt in the form of a token, which they can then tender into the financier, and the financier will be able to disburse funding or a follow-on facility based on the value of that token. If they then choose to go the farmland exchange marketplace route, it means that what they are going to do is they are going to tender in their farmland or their farmland assets, which basically taps into their cattle, their chickens, their farmland as it is, the land. Then they also get, investors can also invest in that farmland, and get a token which they can hold or sell or buy depending on the way the land is performing or the way the land is depreciating. So basically that would be it. I would have loved to play the video, but unfortunately technology did what it does best.
It did, but don't worry, we actually have a networking session, and I'm sure you can share that video. You can show it to me, but then I understand. If anybody has a question here, that would be the best moment to please pop the question. Yeah, let me take this side for once.
Thank you. My name is Samuel Zabamo, as well as developer. One thing I would like to ask you is regarding the farmers in Africa. For example, many of them, like right now, many of them are illiterate. How are you planning to approach that specifically? Will you be able to teach them, for example, to use your system? And also you mentioned that your system will be running on mobile, web, and other stuff. So will you also provide them with those appliances? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. So to answer that, we have been in the financial inclusion space, already serving many smallholder farmers, especially on access to finance. So what we do is we have a USSD platform. We also have a mobile application that is very easy to comprehend. So the technology is not something that they can fully get in contact with. Our system is very seamless and it's very easy to use, which makes us, which proves why we have gotten this much of traction, about 9,700 farmers who are using our platform to date. So it's only a matter that we cater for the needs of smallholder farmers as they come to us. USSD, mobile application, web application for those who can afford it.
And also to add on, our USSD, because we do understand that most of the smallholder farmers, they don't know, I can say, okay, something's missing. They don't know how to speak English or to understand. So we are working on translating. USSD platform will be in our local language, like Shona, so that they can access the service so easy. And our extension agents are also trained to deliver service in local language. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it, and I hope that if anybody has any more questions, you'll get some time together and get to answer them. Thank you. Last time I had introduced another... Our last presentation, the pitch is going to be online. And I guess now we are technically ready. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome Reed first. And they are here to explain to you how you can be part of it. Sama, if you can hear me, you can nod and then you are ready to go with the presentation. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, thank you. So greetings from Egypt. We are Rita, and we are started by our vision to be the leading green organization platform in the MENA region. And MENA region is actually North Africa and the Caribbean. And our mission is to provide a channel for Egyptian middle-class citizens to invest partially in the rented commercial real estate properties, allowing them to create additional revenues for the family, as well as helping real estate developers to create faster liquidity. And the problem that we're trying to solve that Egypt has a population of 110 million citizens and builds around 200,000 new units each year. In the left-hand side, this graph represents the demographics of the Egyptian citizens and their average monthly income. And as you can see, more than 70% lie in the low-income class and middle-income class citizens. So imagine if someone from the middle-income class luckily obtain a property for residential purpose, imagine if he wants to buy a property for investment purposes and not for residential purpose, that would be beyond the reach. And to prove that, there are yet 5.6 million properties already built and vacant across the nation. So the current solution trying to solve the same problem are mortgage, and it does not represent more than 1% of the total GTB of the Egyptian market, and this is because accessing to mortgage is complex and completely difficult. The other solution is timeshare, and it failed because it does not have a clear resale market. The third solution is a REIT funds, but there is only one REIT fund in Egypt, and the awareness around it is extremely low. So we are introducing REIT-Fast, an asset tokenization platform for real estate market based on Near protocol blockchain. And how the process currently runs, that the buyer, in order to obtain a property for residential purpose or for investment purpose, he has to buy it in full. Not to mention the brokers and lawyers and insurance companies that come into the process make it more complex and more costly. So our process, we are reimagining the process where a real estate developer that owns a property like a hotel, for example, that is valued more than $10 million, it will create something called LLC as a registry, where REIT-Fast will take this property, tokenize it into affordable, and divide it into affordable shares via smart contracts. And this will allow, for example, Ali and Hala, who have a very small portion amount of money, like $1,500, who can really invest in the same 10 million property through our marketplace. So they are going to buy those shares. They were going to sign an incorporation agreement, incorporation operating agreement to protect the legal ownership of the properties, and they will start earning their yield coming out from the rent each year. Our value proposition for clients or investors are faster exit plus through our marketplace, profit distribution, of course, affordable shares, and protection through the legal ownership. For real estate developer, it's faster liquidity, cost reduction, and operations hassle-free and transparency. Our market opportunity, this graph on the left-hand side represents the office supply in Greater Cairo in 2022, and this number will be doubled by 2025. And we already have 20 assets that are valued by $20 million that are ready to be tokenized through our platform. How we are going to generate revenues is actually from transaction fee from buying and selling those tokens, along with a listing fee collected from minting services for real estate developers that are connected to the value of the property itself, advertisements for real estate developers, and 10% of the rent being generated from the properties being managed against the property services and facility management services. Our competition, there is only one or two local players in the market who are just matchmaking and does not have any end-to-end journey. Internationally, there is DigiShares and RitzOne. They are doing the same. However, there are questions about the legal ownership. Our roadmap is to finalize MVP and legal setup by August 2022, launch by end of this year and raise as well. Finalize hiring by March 2023 and launching by April 2023. Our ask is 1 million for the hiring, development, operation over 2 years, and our future is offering tokenization services for mutual funds, real estate fundraising, SPVs, and building an AI algorithm for asset valuation across Egypt, KSA, and UAE markets. This is our team presented by Hussein Rifai. He is the founder of Inertia Holding, which is one of the very reputable real estate developers in Egypt. Me, myself, who is managing the innovation department, and Bank Misr. And Hindam, who served more than 10 years in Microsoft as a software lead, and he's also serving as an AI and machine learning engineer in Lexion USA. Now I will summarize everything in 1 minute demo and then show you the product in 1 minute as well.
Democratizing access to real estate investment through REIT-Fast. Investing in rental income generating property is a smart way to diversify your portfolio. Earn additional income and build long-term wealth. However, buying a commercial property in full will require large amounts of funds that might be impossible to acquire in a short duration. That's why REIT-Fast, innovative marketplace that makes you easily be able to buy and resell affordable shares in a rent commercial property by using learningfast.com.
Now that we're gonna show you the product itself, and I'll pass it over to my colleague in the
Yeah, sure. Let me start by walking you guys through the website. Basically, this is the landing page where you can say, like, you can search for properties in the beginning. You can also buy and sell properties if you click on these buttons, or you can go down and browse the properties that have been recently minted and added to the website. Except can help us and like click on one of those properties, please. Yeah. So you can then go to the details page where you can see the information about the property itself, like the address, available tokens for sale, the price per token, and the name of the property. You can also see different images of the property and a location of the property. And if you go down, you can also see more information about the financial aspects of the property in terms of like rent, the expected income, and also like some other features, whether it has air conditioning and stuff like that. We have now logged in user, which is in the demo account. You can go to the dashboard and you can see every user can see his own like portfolio. They can see like their active investments. They can see their pending investments, which are the stuff that he wants to like apply for buy requests. And you can see also the transaction detail. Maybe Samah can click on one of them and to see which transaction for transparency that actually created this like minted the token to his wallet. Users can like sell properties. They can also buy properties and manage those on the dashboard.
Thank you, Hindam. Thank you very much, and we are open to questions.
Well, thank you very much. If anyone here has a question, this will be the right moment to ask. Unfortunately, we won't be able to have them in our networking session, so definitely if you have a question, this will be the best time to ask. Otherwise, maybe you could tell us how we can easily reach you, because definitely someone will be interested to know how to reach and get more details.
Contact is with our friend Kayode. And I will put in the chat as well our email. Anyone wants to reach us? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. The email is info@readfast.com. Thank you for joining, and get yourself a cup of coffee, as we are about to have some here, and I guess we'll be with you in spirit. Thank you very much, Samanda. For those of you who are here, a round of applause to them for the beautiful presentation. Now, to have a very small break, I'm going to ask for a video to play, and then I'll be coming back with another session. As I said, this is a demo day, and it's our beautiful physical face-to-face moment of meeting. So we have some certificates that are going to be handed over to the people that were part of this cohort. But let's play the video first before we go into that moment.
There is a saying, talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. So what if we could build an equal opportunity platform where any artist or artisan across the globe can partake in? A marketplace that leverages a rewards program that enables trust and a positive user experience. A marketplace that allows for inclusion and fair access to the global economy. What if we projected and tokenized exceptional and unique digital artworks in the form of NFTs, allowing for artists across developing nations to contribute their talent towards the emerging metaverse? What if we expanded business models by leveraging a utility token, where corporations can adopt a token-based reward system, which will drive corporate social responsibility and enhance employee engagement, performance, and creativity? All this driven by a digital social impact ecosystem that builds a community that includes a sense of mission, connectedness, belonging, and purpose. This will be our core vision here at AFOMA. So, imagine the possibilities we can accomplish together. Imagine the endless opportunities within our reach. Just imagine the impact we can make for generations to come. What if this is just the beginning?
Well, what if this is just the beginning? I will say the truth is we are lucky to be part of the beginning of the future. Isn't that beautiful? Looking at where we are headed, selling art pieces online as digital assets, I think it's the beautiful thing to even witness and to be here and looking how I can easily be an investor in something I will never see, and I'll get back my money there and then, which we'll discuss later on, by the way. It will be beautiful. It will be beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome Ernest Sibomana, Director of Education, Africa Blockchain Institute. He's going to be handing over the certificates, and later on he will be continuing with his closing remarks. Thank you. All right, and I think to make it easy, we celebrate them because we are happy for them. It's been a long journey. They've managed to get to the top. I will start with awarding of Tijere Housing Company. We get happy for them, don't we? Yes, amazing. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for being part of this program. It's been a full year with them, and I think this is a beautiful moment for them to be able to accomplish such a big milestone in this sector. Blockchain innovation in Africa is just the beginning, and having such solutions coming up is a beautiful thing. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, help me welcome Mint Condition as they also get their certificate. Thank you for participating in this program. And of course, Umoja Lands. Umoja Lands, we also thank you for being part of this program. Thank you for consistently showing up in every activity and being able to present such a beautiful solution. Aren't we happy for them, people? Come on. Thank you. Now, Ernest Sibomana, Director of Education at Africa Blockchain Institute. This is the time to deliver your closing remarks and a vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. You clap for yourself, first of all. It was an amazing night today in Rwanda. As you said, my name is Soma Ernest. I'm the Director for Training in the Africa Blockchain Institute. I'm very proud to deliver the closing remark on the behalf of Africa Blockchain Institute. Let me first ask you to help me to congratulate our CEO and the team for organizing this glorious event. As you have seen, guys, blockchain can help us as Africa to unite ourselves and to share skills across the continent. And as mentioned, our AMC, you have seen that we have to keep learning. Don't stop learning, because life also doesn't stop teaching. So we are lucky to have this disruptive technology to help us to become financial inclusive, very smart. So first, let me give my closing remarks by announcing that we will be launching the next blockchain technology, incubation by next week, by Monday. We have already have those who have registered and hope to have them on Monday. Are you ready? Okay. And again, it is a 2 weeks blockchain fundamentals so that we have to teach them the blockchain fundamentals, the use of blockchain, and the use cases, as you have seen some of them, but we'll go in details to see some examples how the blockchain is practically used in the real life to change our life as young people in Africa. And we'll be launching the program as from next month in training individuals who want to use blockchain to get jobs. And also, you will be looking some information about this program on our social platform, as you have mentioned them on the screen. You can go through our email, our website of Africa Blockchain Institute, and you read more about our program. Lastly, the second edition of African Blockchain Institute will be reported in the next month, very soon. It contains detailed analysis, that report, activities, then the practical adoption of blockchain technology. We have interviewed stakeholders and some more in Rwanda, across Africa, and then please make sure those who are interviewed, you will get your copy as soon as we get out by August. Also, we'd like to thank our faculty mentors, those our CEO has mentioned before. He was introducing the program. We have some, like Olainka, as he said, she's the CEO of Black Women Blockchain. So they have playing a tremendous job to make this event happen. We have also Chris Bates. We have also Dr. Tammy Franks. We have also Abelix, the guys in India, who is having a fast agri-tech in the blockchain. So he's also participating in this kind of blockchain technology in Africa. Also, we can't wait to thank our team, advisory team, board of ABI. Some of them, we have Sandra, we have Favor. They have played a great role for organizing this event. We also thank NIRA Foundation. As you have seen in every pitch, they have been mentioning it because we have been partnering to make this event happen. So that we also launch or make you know that we'll be having another Africa blockchain program, incubation, in next month. So we can't find words to use by thanking you, those who have already participated in this event. It is yours. It's time for Africa. This technology is new. We have to keep learning. We have to keep reading, but we have solution through this technology. We have solution in the blockchain technology. We have access to all information. We can change our lives. We can keep educating our young students, our young generation, to increase, to improve their lives through getting access to the decentralized skills through blockchain technology. So you are lucky to have ABI, African Blockchain Institute, and in Rwanda we are lucky to have the headquarters as concerned about our leadership, which is ICT friendly You have seen most of guys from Zimbabwe, most of guys from Kenya, from Nigeria. You have been enjoying the ecosystem of Rwanda. So feel free, feel happy as long as we keep sharing the skills through the blockchain technology. We are happy. Bless Rwanda, bless you, Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, one more time, I think that was good news. There is more time to learn and also be part of this program. To be honest, I was wondering, is this the end of it? At least it's beautiful to know that there is another chance, right? So I understand we're going to have Zimbabwe and Egypt. For those of us here in Rwanda, and also I'm sure we'll be allowed to be part of it. Great, great. Now, let me ask you to stand up, please. I have amazing news to give you. It's just breaking news. In fact, it's happening right now. CNN is talking about it. Talk to your neighbor and tell them, let's go have a bite. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming in today. My name is Arthur. I was the MC, and I hope you had a good time. Amazing. Thank you.